Hello. It is February 12th, 1:27 p.m. Coming to you quite a few days after the last Book of Moron clip was put out. And I just really, the pre-Pinhoti clips. I've been re-listening to all the pre-Pinhoti clips. And I'm just not very satisfied with what I'm hearing, both in terms of content and in terms of the actual production. There was a bit of a learning curve and a growing pain section of actually getting Book of Moron into a place where I felt like it was a consistent product, if you will. And so I think that for me personally, I have two different types of recording things. I have something called self-talks, which is basically just me talking to myself, go figure, as an audio journal that are just purely thoughts for me to process and reflect on. But then I also have this more outward, this outward podcast that I put out for more of a general consumption. And so re-listening to these pre-Pinhoti clips, the thing that really kind of stands out to me is that I was basically transitioning from doing these self-talk clips to a more globalized format for consumption, like I mentioned. And I think that there was a little bit of cross-contamination there. And I think that it gets better and better throughout the course of Book of Moron because I become more streamlined and focused on what the actual format of the show is. And prior to getting to that point with all of the other clips that precede it, which is sort of a nebulous point to even try to isolate or locate, what I'm trying to say here is that I don't like the pre-Pinhoti clips as part of the Book of Moron. And there were a lot of audio issues initially because I didn't really have a good way of recording things at that time. And so the pre-Pinhoti clips from clip 8 all the way up to clip 16 or something, they're just hit and miss. There's a bunch of terrible noises because I was using the microphone from my headphones to actually record audio, and every time that it would hit against my shirt or brush against fabric, or if there was a really bad wind, it would pick all that up and it would sound terrible. A lot of it is just purely unlistenable. And so I do enjoy the clips that I made up to this point, the little lead-ins to the pre-Pinhoti considerations and all that stuff to give a little bit more context as to what was going on. But I think as a standalone product, the Book of Moron doesn't really need any kind of I don't know. This whole thing is an organic process, right? But it's an organic process that I'm figuring out as I'm creating it, and I'm also trying to put the Book of Moron back out into the world simultaneously. So this is a resurrection process, basically, but it's also something that I am kind of learning about as I'm doing it. I also commissioned one of my friends, I'll definitely put some links in the show notes, Jake Cook. He made an awesome theme song for the Trans-America Bike Ride podcast that I made that I just loved. And I asked him to make a similar theme song for the Book of Moron, which I was hoping to get it as soon as possible so that I could affix it to the beginning of each episode so that I wouldn't have to retroactively go back and add it after the fact. But I can still do that in the future and then just keep posting episodes with it. Even as I'm sitting here talking about this right now, what I'm realizing is that I'm basically working out my process yet again for determining how I want this show to exist in the ether. This is the most relevant place to actually start with the podcast. This is day one on the Pinhoti. And, I left on the 21st of February. It was a big travel day going from Northeast Georgia to Atlanta to Anniston, Alabama, and then from there all the way to the southern terminus of the Pinhoti, which is where this clip will actually pick up. It was such a shitty, rainy day. It was so perfect. It was beautiful. And it was a long day. And, again, this is really where the story starts. The preamble, the prequel, the precursor, all this pre-Pinhoti stuff. In the larger arc of my life, it is all certainly relevant, and it's certainly stuff that is not garbage, but for this story, for the Book of Moron itself, I want to focus more on trail, like what happened on the trail itself. How did I change from Alabama all the way up through Canada, and then all the way from Canada back to Georgia? Like, that's the story that I want to tell, and that's where Book of Moron really finds its stride and finds its purpose and meaning. So this is where the whole thing actually begins, and I've never really been one for reading supplementary materials, so let's get right to the meat of the story. This has been Pinhoti Day 1. Hello. It is Monday, February 21st, 12:20 p.m. December 20th. Lol. Stupid. It's been a long day, and I haven't even started yet. I'm here at the southern terminus of the Pinhoti. Just got dropped off from the wonderful folks who run the Pinhoti Outdoor Center. Highly recommend for shuttles and resupplies and all the other things you could need, hostels, etc. Just sitting here, getting all my stuff ready. It's definitely a very legit rain going on. A little chilly, very wet. I haven't gotten soaked yet, but I just switched over all my gear to my rain gear, which I'm very happy to have. Yeah, man. So far, so good. Didn't make a clip yesterday. It was sort of a big day of transit. The rain's coming back. It was my mom's birthday. Went to church that morning. The sermon was about treasures in heaven. So, in case you didn't already know, you have your reward in the afterlife is better than any reward you can get in the normal life. Go figure. Anyway, spent the day hanging out with my mom, doing whatever she wanted to do, and went to my aunt's house for the night. She lives a little bit outside of Atlanta. Had some delicious Thai food. Watched a really crazy movie called Life Itself. I don't know if I'd recommend it, but it was definitely good. Had some beer. Went to bed pretty late. Close to midnight. Woke up ass early this morning at like 5:45. And it's been kind of go since then. My dad was kind enough to take me down to Atlanta to get onto the Amtrak. Got me breakfast and stuff like that. And got on the Amtrak, headed out to Anniston, Alabama. Got picked up again, like I mentioned, from the Amtrak station by the Pinhoti Outdoors people. Pinhoti Outdoor Center, abbreviated POC. And now, like I said, I'm consuming a few calories, try to warm up a little bit, transition all my gear into wet mode, and then I'm heading up to Flag Mountain. I'm about a mile and a half south of Nimblewell Nomad, who apparently is supposed to be there today. So I'll stop in there. I'm not sure what he's got going on or what he might want to talk about. Or, I mean, if he's got some coffee there, I'd love to stay and hang out and drink a cup of coffee before heading back out. But anyway, this is like a legit ass day to start. I'm totally stoked on it. I think it's perfect for the scope and the magnitude of what I'm trying to do. I mean, if it doesn't start on a shitty, cold, rainy day, then I'm probably going to be in over my head pretty quickly. So this will be a good little test. I'm planning on aiming for the hostel, the Pinhoti Outdoor Center hostel. At this point, I think I'm just going to tent in the back. We'll see if I still want to do that after being in the rain for the next 8 or 9 hours, but it's going to be like a 24-mile day, which is not crazy. I've done it before, and I'll do it again. I've got to get a resupply at the Dollar General, which hopefully should take me from the Pinhoti Outdoor Center tomorrow all the way to Chiaha State Park, where there's another little town, little country grocery store kind of thing. And then, I don't know. I was sitting around the Amtrak station this morning waiting for the train, and I was just exercising that atrophied muscle of trying to remember how I would plan for resupplies and daily mileages and stuff like that. It's been a while. I remember on the AT, we'd all kind of sit around in a circle, or at least it seemed that way in my head, and commiserate about how many miles we wanted to do each day, where we wanted to stop, if it was going to be a shelter or a campsite, did it have water,
did it set us up for going into town when we were hoping to? Do we have enough food to do the days that we're needing? Or do we have to do longer days or shorter days? I mean, there's all these like very repetitive and easy to adjust to logistics that you got to get started when you're doing a long trail. And I haven't done that for a while. All my stuff in Asheville, it was just like overnights. So I just had everything that I needed for that entire duration. It was very like self-contained and discreet in the sense of it being like a known unit. But out here, I mean, shit, there's a lot of stuff going on. And it's going to be fun to get back into that swing of things. But yeah, Sonny says, nimble nomad, why not start where it starts? And I'm at the start, about to start. What else, y'all? Not too much to report. It just seemed appropriate to get something from the beginning. But again, couldn't be happier about the conditions. They could be so much worse. It could be like freezing rain. That shit would suck. A bite too big. I did have a mild tragedy a moment ago. I have some pretty sweaty cheese, and I went to take a slurp of it from my from its little container, and I dropped half of my cheese stick onto this bench that I'm sitting on right now. And I have not devolved into being feral enough yet to where I even considered eating it, so I just threw it into the woods. But that was probably like a solid 90 calories I didn't get. But such is life on trail. And the rain is kind of coming in waves at this point. So when I got here, it was raining really hard. It's calmed down a little bit. It's definitely doable. From what I remember of this, first, the first night that I've already done this section before. I don't remember. It might have been before I actually started this podcast. In which case, I guess I should just mention, I've already done the first 30 miles of the Pinhoti. I came here back in late January. Stayed with Nimble Will, got to know him a little bit, stayed up at the ranger cabin. I did 60 miles in 2 days. I might end up repeating something similar to that as I continue to move forward. I'm not really sure how it's going to be to adjust to trail life. I'm really excited about it. It doesn't seem real, and it seems surreal. But at the same time, it feels familiar. And being out here by myself, one of the whole points of me wanting to do all the shakedown hikes that I did in Asheville was so that I would not feel freaked out about the concept of me being out here alone. And I don't. I feel confident and competent. Don't remember. Oh, yeah, well, so I know what the first 30 miles of this trail are like, which means about 390 of it or so. Or maybe 360. Doesn't matter. That's the portion that I have no familiarity with. So I won't really be on new grounds until some point tomorrow. But I'm excited for what lays ahead. I'm glad that it's kind of early in the day, out here, this part of Alabama, which I almost called Walmart in my head, which calling Alabama Walmart doesn't actually feel that wrong. But anyway, I keep forgetting what I'm thinking about. So there's an hour difference. I started on the East Coast time this morning, and now I'm in Central time, and so it's technically 1:30 my time, but only 12:30 here. And I've gone on many. Ooh, was that lightning? Excuse me. Rude. That was lightning. Wow. I think there were thunderstorms called for. I think I'm in a pretty good spot, though. I'm not too worried. Although I am about to be in the highest point of Alabama. Or not Alabama, but the first 1,000-foot mountain. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Yeah, so I have an hour more to play with, and I've gone on much longer walks and started much later in the day. So none of that really concerns me. I don't really have any concerns. I guess now I am a little bit thinking about lightning, but in any case, doesn't really matter. I gotta continue setting all my stuff up for wet mode, and I should be seeing Nimble Will in less than half an hour. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully this rain doesn't hold me back too much speed-wise today. I mean, I think about a third of my day's miles today should be road walking, so that shouldn't be a problem. And with that, I'll leave it there for now. As the rain picks back up, I'll fade out with the sounds of that. I see a little chickadee bird coming out, which, my whole theory about birds and rain is that if the birds come back out and they start singing, oh, that means the rain is done. We'll see if that ends up being true. Talk to you later. Bye. Hello. It is 7:30, the 21st of February, Monday. I'm still out here on the Pinhoti, day 1, 18 miles in, and yes, 7:30 p.m. It's going to be a little bit of a later night. Probably, depending on how things go for the next little section, might not get there until almost 10. And I have 2 beers to drink, so that's a little problematic. Not really. That's something to look forward to. Yeah, man. Like I said in the last clip, which was kind of hurried and not super, well delivered or anything. I have done this section before, so it is somewhat familiar, but I've been in the dark for the last 2 hours because of the time change and stuff. So it feels a little bit unfamiliar, at least these sections. I was in the dark last time too, but it was a different part. It's fucking busy out here. Kind of surprised. Kind of bummed. All these dumbasses keep turning on their fucking brights, and then I can't see anything. So I don't really know who. I'm way off the road. They don't need to see me any better than they can. Fucking dumbasses. Jesus Christ. But yeah, just wanted to get back to you with another update. I was just thinking, I was listening to this song, this Joni Mitchell song, which I think is just called Carrie. And there's this scene that she paints that I've always really enjoyed of I guess she's going to leave this guy named Carrie. I guess he's in Morocco. And I don't remember who he was in her life because I watched this documentary not too long ago about her, and they went over all of her great loves. And I vaguely remember her having Carrie explained as the character in her life, but I don't remember who he was. Anyway, might have been her first husband. But anyway, yeah, she paints this scene where she's let's don't worry so much about what's going on. Let's just go down to the Mermaid Cafe and I'll buy you a bottle of wine and we'll laugh and toast to nothing and just have fun. And, I've always kind of had this feeling. I used to have this feeling for Fiona Apple too, that she would be my perfect woman. And with Joni Mitchell, I kind of feel like that as well. For, she's an excellent metaphor crafter in addition to just being a great musician. And I've always just been very touched by the way that she can spin a yarn, And so that's always a quicker way to my heart than through my stomach. What does she say? There's another song where she's I'll give you a taste of my cooking or something, and she's really just talking about going up and drinking and then having sex, I guess. But anyway, yeah, there are these women in my life, both semi-fictitious. I never have met Joni Mitchell. I ascribe a bunch of traits and attributes to her just through consuming her art, as well as Fiona Apple. But there was this Bulgarian girl, and I don't think I've ever mentioned this here for sure, but I was just thinking about her because she was kind of she was sort of an embodiment of Joni Mitchell, or at least that same kind of feeling where I was wow, this woman could be perfect for me. And I think, Jesus Christ, guys, get it together. I think, that scene, that getting a bottle of wine in the Mermaid Cafe that she paints a picture of, it reminds me when I was studying abroad in Japan, which I did do back in 2011. There was I was hanging out with this Bulgarian girl. We had a couple of sort of just I want to say solo forays, but there were 2 of us, so I'm not sure if that really counts as solo. But anyway, we were hanging out for a little while, and I was never never very close with this girl, intimately wise. The closest we ever were was probably our legs brushing together on the train in Japan as we went to go somewhere together. But I do recall one time they were I don't know if we pulled this off because we were foreigners or what, but we went to this grocery store and we were drinking unfiltered sake, and we got pretty drunk and just kind of, I don't know, lamenting being white people in Japan. It's so hard, y'all. I don't really remember exactly what we were talking about, but I remember it was sort of like a event session. Maybe it was like how bullshit the school was, or I don't remember. But in any case, it was a good time. Really enjoyed it. Certainly, obviously memorable. It happened like 11 or 12 years ago. And yeah, so all that just to say, this girl, she was very like intimidating, but I guess she and I got along, but still there was like this weird moment on, I've been waiting for a text actually, trying to get back from the POC. I don't want a bed. Just let me sleep outside like a fucking animal. That's why I'm out here. You're welcome, full house tonight, but you're welcome to it. If you want to get warm and dry, I'll keep your rate. There's an extra bed. The hostel, if you want full house tonight. I don't get it. I'm gonna get warm and dry out. Sorry for the, I'm trying to get my arrangements in order, you know. I still have like 2 hours until I get to this place, like I mentioned. Gotta stop at Dollar General if they're still open. Thank you, but I'll stay outside. The weather hasn't been too bad. I should... Ooh, okay. We were up at Flag for a bit. I'll probably find you on the way towards the POC. Okay. Cool. Sounds good. Sounds dibs. God damn it, fucking bullshit. Cool. Sounds... God, I hate this fucking texting thing. Jesus Christ. Alright. Alright, that was important. Sorry. Let's see, we got some people. Yeah, I guess I had more steam back in the woods when I was thinking about all of this stuff, listening to the music. It was sort of evoking thoughts. Oh, here come some friends. Don't you remember me? I've been here. Hey. At least dogs. These are the first of the many to come, I'm sure. I'm surprised any of them are out. Yeah, well, I've basically lost steam in that little thing. Suffice it to say, that Bulgarian girl was cool. Eastern European people are cool. I feel bad for the Ukraine thing going on. I don't really understand what that's all about. I don't understand what motivation Russia has to to invade Ukraine. I have a friend, Maxime, who is also studying abroad in Japan, who was from Ukraine, and I reached out to him on Facebook not too long ago, but didn't get a message back, so hopefully that's all good. Again, I don't really understand what they're trying to do, if they're trying to, like, someone I'd heard said that Putin is trying to, like, reform the, like, former Soviet empire. I don't fucking know, and all that stuff is so biased. Anyway, yeah, man, shit. Well, there's no doubt that I have less to say than I thought I would. Pretty stoked that I'll be close to done for the day soon enough. I don't really know what tomorrow is going to hold. I'm excited to relax and take it easier tomorrow. I've been up since 5:45, so pushing on to 14 hours, but not feeling bad at all. Just focused on the task at hand, and not really much else to say for now. I'll probably have more to say once I get a little bit drunk, and that is the goal of the evening at this point. So, yeah, basically a waste of a clip, but in any case, I will get back to you soon enough. Bye for now. Am I tucked in? No, I'm not even done.